The Mindbuzz Podcast.
Shepard, what's up, man?
What's going on? How you doing, brother?
How you doing? Welcome to this little thing that we call the Mindbuzz. It's a podcast.
This little thing, man. It's a pretty big thing. I think you're being a little humble there, brother.
It's grown on me. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm thrilled to be here. I think this is one that people have kind of been waiting on for a while, man. You know, ever since
This is long overdue.
Oh, long overdue. It's an understatement,
Right?
but we're here. We're here, man. You know, it's funny because I was really, if you don't mind me telling our pre-story here, I was really amped up to do the July 4th episode for you. I think that's when we were supposed to collab, and it didn't line up, but we're here now. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring the same level of craziness.
It didn't line up. Aaron did a fantastic job on that special call-in show. I will shoot the link down in the description because that one was a fun one.
Yes.
Originally, that was your slot, but like you said, things didn't line up. But we're here now. We're here now, and we're being here now.
Living in the
So,
moment.
Shepard. Welcome. You are from a great podcast, I like to mention, Deep Meaningful Conversations. At first, when I seen Ben from Skip the Noise podcast post about how his good friend was going to come up with a podcast, and I thought the concept was great. Your logo is awesome. And then when I first heard your voice, I was like, whoa, yes.
Hey,
It comes out for a great show. And just like Ben says, I mean, he said the same thing about my voice on when I had him on the Mind Buzz, and it comes up with a great show. And
well, I
deep
appreciate
MCs,
that,
man.
man. I appreciate that for sure. I mean, shout out Ben, Skip the Noise podcast for sure, man. But yeah, I think between me and you, man, there's probably two greatest voices in podcasting. We'll just say that right now. We'll claim it. We'll claim that spot. Nobody
We're
can have
claiming it
Yeah,
right now.
exactly. Mark the books.
MB054 in the house with Shepard. No, big shout out to Ben. He connected us. I mean, not directly, but he shared your podcast on his platform, and that's how I was able to pick it up.
Yeah, man.
So
Hopefully everybody will check it out and enjoy. But we're here now, man. I'm ready to get this ball rolling, man. I've watched a couple of
right.
years. I'm excited for it.
So we had some topics that we were throwing around. It's so funny because when I ask people, "Hey, so what do you want to talk about?" They generally just throw out, "Well, it's your show. You can go ahead and pick whatever you want." But I do. But some of my following, you can only talk about magic mushroom psychedelics and the alien theory so much until it gets saturated.
I don't know, man. We can go down some rabbit holes with that too. You never know.
We can, and we probably
Will.
There
you go.
Yeah, but so I was listening to your latest podcast, and I was thinking about how what you guys were mentioning about catchphrases.
Yeah.
In the certain ones, I posted something like that. I want to say maybe about a month ago, a few weeks ago. Uh, asking what would my catchphrase be, or anything like that. And you had some really good ones too. You
Yeah,
want to
man.
mention some of them?
It's just crazy how it's just crazy and it's funny. You know, I say that quite a bit. For whatever reason, people always quote me too. I guess I say "What's going on, man?" quite a bit. Like, well, that's just kind of the go-to. What's going on, man? Uh, Yeah, I don't know. Catchphrases are kind of funny. You don't really realize them until you point them out, right? It's like
Yeah.
you don't never see the car that you have until you buy it, and it's everywhere on the road, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I enjoy them. They've kind of it's kind of become my thing, and people are picking up on it. You'd be surprised.
No, I hear it definitely when I am editing the show, and I'm just like, okay, because I when I listen back, of course, audio is what I'm looking for in the quality, but also how I speak and what I can change to make it, more palatable to people listening. And one of them was I'm always questioning my guest. I'm always questioning, like, if it's gonna happen in this show. I'm just warning you right now. If you're gonna say something, I'm gonna say, "Hold on," is one. That's one thing that I say, almost all the time is "Hold on," because I want a further analysis in what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on.
Two is really, like really, and three, I don't even know what three is I don't know. But those, and it's three, there we go. It's I don't know, because typically I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing.
I don't know, man. You for knowing nothing, you're taking this podcast game pretty far. So I think you know a thing or two, man. And you're talking about the audio too, man. Your audio is crazy crisp, and I don't know how many people or how much video you do, but your setup, the way you have it set up is pretty nice, man. I need to do some acoustics in my
Uh-huh.
area as well, but no,
Gotcha.
your audio's on point for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I have learned over time. Fucking up 20, m- messing my first couple of episodes, I had the AC on.
Yeah,
I had the AC on, and I was working like 2 hours to rip that, AC sound, that noise reduction, to a minimum instead of just turning off the AC maybe? I don't know, Gil.
yeah, man.
That could've
The
worked.
little things, but when you're first getting started out, man, you make all those mistakes for sure. I mean, my
Yeah.
biggest one though, I mean, that's really audio, but with I'm trying to do the video too, right? So I always hit the record on the camera, and then I forget to hit the record on the roadcaster. And I've gone like deep into interviews and like, shit, man, we didn't even we haven't even started this thing yet.
Yeah.
But it's just the nature of the beast, man. It's how the business goes.
Yeah, that was one topics that, one of the few topics we're talking about is, just, podcasting in general. I have a question, how did you get into this?
Well, really, man, it was kind of it was born out of almost necessity, if you will. You know, I hate to say this because we've heard it so much, but COVID has affected a lot of people in a lot of ways, and for me, I'm someone that, clinically depressed, depression runs in the family and all of that stuff. So it kind of affected me too. I mean, yeah, I wasn't in the same position as a lot of these people were, but just in general, I know how it feels to reach those lows or hit those points, and the mental health aspect of things has always been something that seems to is it now it's coming to the forefront a little bit more, but before it was just kind of like a hot button or a clickbait or just things that people would put out there momentarily, like anything else, right? It's a news cycle, 24 hours. People always want the next story, and then it kind of just gets forgotten. But for me, I wanted to really take that an extra step and put something out there for the people who are like me, who are suffering, or maybe they're just realizing that they're suffering, or they need help, or they don't know where to go, or they just want to know that they're not alone in the struggle. And I was like, you know what, let me do a podcast for this. A lot of people, they touch on things and then they want to go to wherever the next story is, but I want to be a place where we keep those stories going, because people are always going to need help. They're always going to want to seek out, they're always going to want to find a source. And you know we wanted to be that source, and boom, there you go, Deep MCs was born.
At first, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard your name, I thought it was gonna be like a deep dive into like MCs, like rappers.
Yeah, man. No, it's funny. I
Mhm.
kind of wanted something that played on a lot of levels, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
MCs, masters of ceremonies, they talk on the mic a lot. We're talking on the mic, and
Yeah.
we want to kind of go deep. A lot of people
Okay.
don't really go. It stays superficial a lot of times, even when you're with your friends or your family. How was the day? How was this? How was that? It's fine, whatever. But no,
Yeah.
we want to go to another level with it, and we try.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I do get that a lot. When you okay, so let's start off right there. When when somebody asks you like how are you doing? Do you really care about how that person is doing, or are you just saying it because it's out of it's just a tick that people
Right.
have when you go to some place in the grocery, when you're at the supermarket, you're just like, "Oh, how you doing? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Oh, how
Yeah.
you doing?"
Yeah.
Do you when they ask me, next time somebody asks me that, I'm gonna be like, "You know what? I'm not okay.
Yeah,
I'm
throw them off
not."
and see what they say, man. No, I think that we need more of that. It's funny because I used to. There we go. It's funny, but but
Got it
I
right there. First
started
one, number
first
1.
one. We need to get a counter up, man.
Get the
Jesus,
tally. Get
but
the tally up.
it was a situation where I started where people would ask me, "How am I doing?" Just passing whatever, and I would just say terrible, just just to see, right? Because everybody's
Yes.
just always just like, "Oh, I'm fine. Oh, good." And it is an autopilot thing. It is a tick thing for a lot of people, but I think that we need to challenge that because a lot of the times people aren't doing
Yeah.
as good as they say. And we can dive into that.
Yeah, one thing, uh, a super close coworker of mine, if I ask them, "Oh, you know, how you doing?" But we're at that level to where they can tell me something off the surface that they're not okay, and first there's that they put the drapes down and they humbled themselves to say that okay they're not okay, but when you ask them for further, you know, further okay, like why are you not okay? Like I don't want to talk about it,
Yeah,
which is fine. That's okay. But this is simply a point for you to express how you're really feeling instead of bottling it up inside.
yeah, man. I think a lot of times, man, people are scared. Vulnerability is a scary thing for a lot of people. And to be able to say, this is how I feel, and not know how it's going to be received. Not know if it's going to. I guess that's just the culture. And I've kind of
Yeah.
talked about it in other podcasts too, especially in the black culture. You don't talk about your feelings, because it's a weakness. Don't let them see your
Yeah.
weakness.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Never let them see you sweat in your jersey when
Yeah.
that's how they say. But yeah, you gotta kind of be able to be vulnerable and open it up. But I mean, it's the thing when you give somebody that power, right? You kind of relinquishing that power because your feelings at the end of the day are one of the very few things that you have control over. You know,
Yeah.
it's a hard one. It really is.
Yeah. I think now that you say that power, you're I guess you're giving somebody that power, right? To see you in a vulnerable state. Well, I think it's how we perceive what really power is
For sure.
to a human. To some, vulnerability can be powerful.
For sure, man. I mean, it is. Uh, I tell people all the time, it's more strength than being vulnerable than keeping it in. It really is. That's why it is such a big pull and such a big weight, and it feels like a lot when you get to that point because it is, man. That's a strong point to be in. So I
Yeah.
encourage people if they can do it, do it. You'll be a whole lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, especially there's a lot of things that tie it into vulnerability. Even what I said at the top of this about me not knowing anything. when you go into something trying to, feel that you do know a lot of, um, you don't. And
Right.
even like with vulnerability, to be vulnerable, you have to uh, let go of that power that you think that you have over your emotions. I mean, uh, and I might seem like I'm contradicting myself in other aspects in other shows, because I do say the power of positive thinking is just a very strong thing to have.
Right.
But even when you're letting your emotions, being to me, being vulnerable, just you're letting go
Yeah.
of of attachment to whether it's the way you think people perceive you. You might say, even, let's stick with that. Let's dive into that one. Uh, when you jump into something and you say that you have no clue or no idea, and it right there, you're vulnerable to information. Not
Yes.
necessarily, not necessarily you don't know anything, but you're open. At least you've let go that attachment of trying to think that you know stuff when you really don't. But when you let go and you're vulnerable to information, then you get to receive that information. Now, the toughest part is deciding if this information is valuable to you. I
Mm.
think that's where people get a little mixed up, because they're like, "Oh, okay, well, if you're going to be vulnerable to the news or CSNBC and CNN and Donald Trump and Biden and Harris and the Q and whatever, you know,
Right.
it
Right.
yeah, you can be vulnerable to that information, but you have a brain. You have a brain and you can think with it and you can make your own choices on what you want to believe."
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. And I think that you hit the nail on the head there, though. Too, is right. We have a brain. A lot of times, people, I guess some people are afraid of what they don't know. Right? They're afraid of what could happen, or the unknown, or the whatever may be, and we stick to our echo chambers. And we should be open to uh, all sorts of information. We should be open to other thoughts and ways of viewing things, because that's where our next level of growth is coming from. And you never know. I mean, being vulnerable can change your world, but can also change the world of the information that's coming to you. It all goes hand in hand. So I think we all need to be a little more open, a little more vulnerable, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for information. I mean, it's like I said, dude, it's not, because when I said, okay, being vulnerable to information is dangerous. It can be dangerous, but it's the way you perceive it and the way you use that information on
Right,
what you receive.
right.
You have a choice
And
on what to do with it.
I think that's what makes it scary for people, right? Especially when it comes to their personal being, because when you give somebody that vulnerability, now they have, I guess, the tools, if you will,
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
hurt you, to crush your
Yeah,
psyche.
and
you know?
and yeah, exactly. And another thing is, and maybe that's number 4 of my catchphrases.
Another
Another
thing
thing
is
is that, uh, I mean, even with perceiving, information, and like I said, you like, okay, so you're putting that information on yourself, right?
right,
You're the one driving the car, so you have nobody else to blame. I think that's where the scary part is too, because whatever you use with your choices, you it's all you. It's not like, oh, God's telling me to do this, or this author is telling me to do this. You can't blame them, because ultimately it's your choice
right.
on what to do with it. And if you make the bad choice, then you make the bad choice. Then pick up and move on.
I don't know. Oh, I think that's for the more enlightened though, right? I mean, I think there's some people out there that will definitely blame blame the information, oh well, because it gives them a way out, it gives them a cop out. Oh well, then so and so
Yeah.
told me to do it. Oh, so and so wrote it, or whatever, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they are the ones that listen to it. They are the ones that take that advice, but they don't want to admit that. I mean, who wants to admit what they're wrong, man? That's like
Yeah.
one of the hardest things
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, and no, it is, but it's that's part of being vulnerable,
Right,
is
right.
to receive that and say, okay, well, man, I really effed up on this. And you have to work with that within yourself. Another thing that I always bring up is you know in work life, and I think about this all the time. And it's uh sometimes I like my bosses let I like okay, so I like when bosses let me fuck up, so that way I can use that fuck up to not do that again.
Right.
Because the feeling of just making a mistake is that's what makes that feeling that happens to you in your body. uh it makes this reaction to where I don't want to feel like that anymore. But if you never do anything wrong, or if you never make a mistake, you're not going to know how it feels to make a mistake.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And I'm all about trial and error, and I agree with you. I mean, we definitely should be living a life in general of allowing mistakes, right? I mean, I think we've gotten to a point where perfection is expected on every level for everything, and
Yes.
we have to be as efficient as possible and up to date as possible, and this and that, and so on and so forth. And it's crazy, man. I mean, we do it in work, we do it in our personal lives, we do it raising kids, we do it. I mean, there's so many different avenues. We just take it a
Yeah.
little too far and
Oh
don't
yeah,
allow for
especially.
those things to happen.
Yeah, especially in maybe relationships. If you've been in a relationship and going through women, men, or whatever you
Right,
prefer,
right.
listeners at home, it doesn't matter. But I think just with relationships in general, if you're just going through this toxic cycle of the same human behavior with yourself and with your partner, and nobody says anything to you,
Doing it.
you're gonna keep returning and doing it. The person might change, but the behavior stays the same.
No, for sure, man. Man, you just that right there, you just sent my mind down about five different paths, dude. For a lot of different reasons, right? And it's funny because I was just having a conversation with somebody about doing a relationship episode, just because they're dealing with some relationship things right now too. And I just did another episode with Matt Grant, Real Life with MG over in Australia, and we off the line talked about some things too, and just dealing with people and the people around you. And he's doing a really good thing too about toxic people and toxic atmospheres, some stuff that he put out. um, but yeah, I agree with you, man. Like that cycle does become repeatable. I have a question for you though, because when you talked about relationships, one of the things, especially for me, since we're talking relationships, we're talking vulnerability, man. uh, and even the people listening at home, when you're in that relationship, do you find it more difficult to be vulnerable with your partner than with someone, I don't know, like say me, say you, say whatever,
Uh-huh.
because for me, I find vulnerability with someone that you care about is more difficult because you are now, it's not just your feelings, but you have to think about them, or if it's something bad, what is that pressure going to put on them, or how they're going to receive it, or is it going to stress them out, or whatever, right? And it's like, oh, tell your partner everything, whatever it is, but that does add a level of stress on them too, you know? So how do you feel about vulnerability with your partner?
It's funny because it's fun. There we go. I'm
You're
taking
picking
some
up.
from the
It's
old.
funny. There you go.
I'm inheriting this during this
Yeah,
podcast.
you can
No,
use it, man. It's free for all.
TM trademark.
Yeah.
Deep MCs. Yeah, keep listening, dude. I'm gonna be when I hear that or any of your catchphrases, I'm gonna say TM.
TM.
Deep MC Shepard over there. No, yeah. I think well, okay, so it's funny that you say that because um I didn't really have knowledge of vulnerability until I met my partner. And this is I'm in my 30s now. And I feel like and I tell this to her all the time that this is probably one of the coolest and realest relationships that I've ever had. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older now. Maybe because I have a just a different way of taking situations and in a relationship.
Right.
But to answer your question, I think it's at least for me, I think it's a little bit easier. Uh, maybe not. It's not easier. Maybe that's not the right word to put on that. But it alleviates some of the pressure that being vulnerable has uh, with somebody that you are deeply connected with.
Right.
Because not and yes, I do take their feelings into consideration, but I think it all happens with the conversation that you're having at that moment in that particular time because maybe you opening up at the wrong time can be, can be a traumatic and maybe that's the a tough word to use in that situation, but
Depending on the situation.
um yeah, depending on the situation, I'm saying. So, in maybe that first conversation that you have or anybody else has, y- you you communicate and tell them, okay, well, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is not has nothing to do with you, the way you treat me. It has nothing to do with our relationship. This is how I feel, and this is me dropping down my guards. Uh, this is uh, this is how I feel. It has nothing to do with you or relationship. And thanks for hearing me out. I think that needs to be the start because it you definitely get stressed in a relationship because you're not only uh, you're not only just thinking about your own feelings, you're thinking about your partner's feelings and your feelings together collectively.
For sure.
So,
For sure.
I mean, that's a tough one, man, because that just doesn't involve you. It involves the other person. Unless you just tell her, "Hey, honey, I'm just gonna spitball here and talk about all these things that I feel and uh don't take them to heart. Just hear me out. Be a soundboard." I think that's the one thing you just got to communicate and tell them what exactly how you feel and what not to perceive in a bad way.
No, for sure. I mean, that's great advice, man. Hopefully, people out there listening, and hopefully, it doesn't get anybody punched in the mouth.
Was that bad? Was that bad advice? I
No,
don't know
man.
if
I
was
think
that
I think that's great advice. I mean,
if it was. Who knows? It's all based on
it's
perception.
all
It,
based on
it, it could be
perception, man.
it could be good advice for somebody. It could be bad advice for another person.
No, I think it's
Observe
always good, man.
Observe the situation before you go into. Observe the information from taking any advice from this person or anybody else on this podcast. How
Ex-
about that one?
There you go. It's probably the better way to go about it, right? No, you know your
Disclaimer.
spouse or significant other better than we do. So
Yeah. Choose your battles. That one. That's always a good one. Sometimes and some topics aren't the right space
yeah, yeah.
for that. But yeah, that one's a tough one, dude. Um yeah, I mean, like I said, being vulnerable, I mean, especially in different cultures, and like you brought up your culture, and even in mine, being vulnerable is a sign of weakness in in Hispanic culture. It's a weakness.
Yeah,
Don't don't see, you can't cry. Don't Why are you crying? Is always one.
yeah, man. That yeah,
I'm
it's rough.
crying because you fucking threw the chunkle at me, Grandma.
That's
That's
why,
why I'm
right?
crying.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know exactly how you feel, man. I was a Cali boy myself, so yeah, growing up in there, and I spent a lot of time with the Hispanic culture too. There's a lot of similarities, man. It's crazy that as many similarities as we have, especially with my age and growing up, we still couldn't collaborate and work together very well. For being so similar,
Uh-huh.
we didn't work together very well. And I don't know why.
Meaning,
No, just I mean, you know how it is. Like I mean, I was born, raised California, and everything else, and spent time all up and down, and spent a considerable amount of time, especially in the latter years around LA and in LA. And you know, my
okay.
family was Compton, you know, South
Oh, okay.
Central, stuff like that. Um,
And these were what, I don't want to age you or anything, but this was what,
I
early
mean,
90s? Like,
mid '90s, you know, early
okay.
mid '90s, early 2000s, you know, in that
Okay.
around that time, you know, it was just it was interesting. It's just interesting to see, and you know, you have a lot of Hispanics around the East LA side, and it's just crazy. I spent a lot of time on both sides, and we are very, very similar, like very similar. And I just don't know why we're always at each other's throats a lot of
Mm,
the time.
yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't, I don't know, maybe it's just the the time frame,
Yeah,
that, or maybe location. Uh, uh, I mean, I don't know, the way that I was maybe brought up, or whatever, but I never really was able to. Now that you say that, I was never really able to, um, have friends. I think that's growing up, because I moved so much that I didn't bother
right.
to make friends, because, oh, why am I gonna make a friend? Like, I'm just gonna move in like the next week or whatever, you know.
Was that a military thing? If you don't mind me asking, or just moving,
Oh,
just to
no,
move?
no, no. It was uh I guess it was a like financial thing, I guess, with
Yeah,
my with just certain things happened in my life that just, "Oh, okay, you're with your dad now, and then,
right, right.
next week, grandma, next 2 weeks with Aunt Lucy, um, I don't wanna go there, it smells." No, but, I don't know, dude. I mean, vulnerability, dude. First time I heard vulnerability was from Brene Brown, and I listened to her audiobook like uh it was on repeat for like a whole month. So check that one out.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she's from Texas. I call her my Texas queen. But where are you from? I usually open up with something like that too. Where are you located?
Well, I mean, right now in Texas, in Houston, yeah, me and Benji are not too far apart.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We actually
Houston.
met. We worked together for a short bit of time, but yeah, no, down here
Okay.
in Houston. But obviously, I'm from California. Will always be a Cali boy at the end of the day. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I just had Marcus from the Inner Monolog podcast, and he's from Houston
yeah, yeah, yeah. He is.
also. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of just like I said on that one, Houston seems like a pretty cool place, and I want to check it out. Maybe when you guys aren't having sandstorms and whatever else is going on over there.
I mean, you're trading wildfires for sandstorms, man. It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all.
But that's I well that's oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. Sounds
I mean, everybody's
uh
moving from California to Texas anyway, man. It's gonna be a matter of time before you're over here.
that's what I heard. And it's a lot. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I want
It's
to say
not
they were saying like Houston was getting something ridiculous, like 200 people a day, something stupid like that. Just people influxing in, and a large majority of them are from the West Coast. I mean, I can't
from
talk
California.
because I'm from there. I mean, but even my sister's still California. She's trying to move out here. But yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's crazy, man.
I wonder what do you know why that is?
I mean, it's a mix of a lot of things. Part of it is just because, well, not so much anymore, but cost of living. Just
Mhm.
people always say it's cheaper. I like to say you just get more for your dollar. You know,
LA is expensive, dude.
yeah, it
It's
is, man.
bad.
It is.
It's
It's
bad.
ridiculous. I mean, my sister lives in Benicia now, and even there, like, it's just it's stupid. I was looking up my mom's like childhood house from LA too just recently and seeing like the like it was like 1,200 square feet, $500,000 they're going for something stupid. But yeah, man, like cost of living is still ridiculously good here. Uh, and you have, for the most part, a lot of your
Yeah.
freedoms, you have a lot of flexibility to kind of do what you want, and still make a name for yourself in a lot of ways, and it is. I mean, it's slowly going a little more blue, right? It's still very red.
Yeah.
There's still some areas where I'm
Yeah.
probably not welcome, but uh,
Whoa,
just
really? Okay.
the industry
Whoa is another
is,
one.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
well, the industry is just, it's starting to pick up and it's starting to boom, and we have the space, man. We have the space, and we have the ability and the resources to make things happen. It honestly is a nice place to be, man. I've lived a lot of places, Hawaii, Florida, small stint in Vegas, and
Oh, okay.
kind of been all over. And I'm happy. I'm happy here for sure.
Yeah. I just went to go see a closet for lease in LA, and I couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
I
no,
couldn't afford it.
it's ridiculous. I have some friends. We're all in a group chat, whatever. But I had one friend that just moved to San Antonio from LA, and he went from paying, I want to say he was paying like $3,000 a month for a closet that didn't have a dishwasher or anything
Yeah.
else. And now he's living in a 3,800, 3,900 square foot home for half of what he was paying for his
Damn.
apartment. So he's happy.
Yeah, it's real estate, but um yeah, I heard it's a blue dot in a red state.
And I think we're up to two blue dots now, man. you know,
Oh, it's two blue
two
dots.
blue
Oh,
dots.
Austin's like that, right?
Houston and Austin, man.
Okay.
They're pretty blue. Well, Austin is just pretty crazy, man. Austin is pretty hippie, pretty out there. So they always stay pretty blue there. Houston finally got there. It took a minute, but we're super diverse, and I think
Mhm.
that helps quite a bit. And other places are coming along, honestly. You know, this is only a matter of time.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because uh okay, Houston and Austin and blue cities and a huge red state. I recently went to San Francisco and I stayed there for, I want to say like 4 or 5 days. I was out there, like 5 days, 4 nights, and
Yeah.
it was just completely like so it was really different than LA. It was fast. It was fast like LA, but just a little bit more. I don't even know where the word should be, but it's just like it was super different. I
The
mean, there
vibe
there are
is
a
a
lot
little
more.
off.
What was that?
The vibe is a little different.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I actually experienced somebody asking me for my vaccine card to go inside a restaurant.
It's
Threw
crazy.
me off.
Yeah, didn't that just go into effect recently too over there? Like after this, or maybe news is just wrong. They're saying like after
S-
Newsom.
Some, yeah, I like hearing from other different from people in different states about California because it blows my mind. But I don't think it's so different. I honestly, to be 100% honest with you, I'm really not following that at the moment.
I don't blame you.
I'm not.
It's yeah,
It's hard.
it is.
It I'm not saying it's no, it's easy, but the hard part is just like what we're saying with information, dude. You listen to the information. I'm not even taking my own advice because I'm not even
You're
listening
not being open
or
to the
hearing.
information, man. This is why
Yeah,
we say
right.
don't listen to us.
At the first part, we're saying listen to everything but make a decision, and now we're saying don't
Don't listen
listen.
to it. Ignore it. It's fine. No, man.
That, like I said in the middle of this, man, that I'm a contradiction, but it's not, it's not contradicting yourself when I'm not defending myself here. Maybe I am. Guards up already.
No, man.
Uh,
Life is a contradiction in a lot of ways, man.
doesn't make sense to me.
It just there's so many things that contradict each other. You know, we can do a whole podcast episode on that. You know, there's for every do something, there's something saying don't do it. You know,
Hmm.
it's nonstop in
But
every
let me
aspect of
hold
life.
on. Let's stay right there for a second
Let's do it.
on uh oh, we have to consider who's telling you not to do these things if it's natural.
No, for sure, man. And that's the hard part. I guess for me, it's more sayings, right? Like you always have someone like if you're talking about I don't know, a job, you know, it's always like uh it's not worth it if it's too much, you know, or don't let them take advantage of you or whatever. You can find something better or whatever. And then on the backside, it's like, oh well, don't give up, just hang in there. You know, it's gonna have difficult times. You can get through it. You know,
Yeah.
like there's always just something no matter what you do. Like we find ways to justify almost any situation. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
But here's the thing. I was listening to a podcast. Which one was it? Oh, the Atheist Experience. I was listening to that, and he was talking to some guy in India, and I don't know what his religion was, but the moral of the story that he was saying is, we tell children that they can be anything they want to be when they grow up, and that's a flat out lie. He was saying that, but we tell that to the kids so that way they can build up self-esteem, they can build up confidence, they can build up whatever they need to do to grow and to pick a goal of what they want to do and try to move forward to that goal. So
Right.
it's a lie, but is it necessarily the right or wrong thing to do?
Right, you don't know, right? And that's one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, who is it coming from? You know, it's it's hard to say. Some of those people, it's gonna benefit, and then the other half are gonna end up jumping off a cliff when harsh
Right.
reality hits that you're never gonna be anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I that really, like, when he said that, I was just like, whoa, okay. Um,
That's-
he's not wrong. I mean, there's no way to you can't really categorize that. I'm thinking, oh, can you can't really categorize that. Can you? I
mm,
mean, can you? I don't know.
I don't think you can. I don't think for me though that I guess over here that kind of reminds me of participation trophies. Right?
Hmm.
I hate them. I hate them, man. But you give them out because
Really? Okay.
want everybody to feel they did good. Want everybody to feel that they won. Yeah,
That
I don't. I like the competition. I don't know. It's just me.
yeah. Yeah, okay, so it's competition is good in some. Uh, I think it's just it's situation. It's there we go again. Situational,
Situational
and it's situational, and it's subjective
for
to
sure.
the person that is receiving the participation reward or giving it out. What is the reason behind? I mean, what's the main reason they have participation trophies?
I that's a good question. I think it depends. I think some people just don't want hurt feelings. I think some people want everybody to feel included. I think some people, I don't know. I don't know. I think it all
Mhm.
depends on the person. Honestly,
I think, like,
why is
I
everything
get,
situational?
yeah, exactly. We can do a whole 3 hours on that. My question is, it's not even a question, but my statement here is that okay, the participation trophies, okay, I get, but it is one thing. You also brought up inclusion
Right.
in one thing, and I feel like now everything has become so inclusive, which is great to a certain extent.
Yeah,
To
for
a
sure.
certain extent, and we're not looking at reality now. We're looking at this thing that I've heard now. Last week, I'm going to bring up another book. Is *Sapiens*.
Sapiens.
I'm not going to butcher the author's name because I can't pronounce it. So just Google *Sapiens* book, and it's right there. It's white, it's red lettering *Sapiens*. Anyways, what he or she, or where they were talking about, there's an inclusion. What they were talking about was an imagined reality, and he was talking about the history of humans and how we built up these societies and we built up it's the evolution. What he was talking about, the evolution of societies, and that not the modern man knows today. I mean, it was a uh, it was definitely a seed planted within the society, but he was saying that these early humans were language, and I talk about this too, is Terrence McKenna, how he talks about how language just super you know put American human cognition 10 times faster than the older humans because of the language that they developed. And a lot of that developing language had to do with imagination
Hmm.
and how they thought and how they put words together in their mind and how all that came out their mouth. But my point is that imagined reality is lots of things that we just make up that are not, that don't have a value right here, tangible, like this remote here. It's real. I can feel it. There's a lot of other things that are we take value to, but it's not really reality. It's just a social contract that we decided as a society to put value on. I don't even know if that tied into anything that you said, but I just felt like it had to be. I had to
We
say
hit
it. It
some
was
points,
weird.
right? Yeah, we hit some points somewhere in there. So where you did say something though too earlier on before that too when you're talking about inclusion and everything else. I mean, I feel that we are reaching a point. I think we're reaching a point where we're being so inclusive, we're excluding people. You know,
Yes, no, that's yes, exactly, and that's what culture does. Culture is good. Uh, I, hold on, I have no idea. I don't know.
we don't know if it is or isn't.
I don't know if culture is good or bad. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, I think that it's if there wasn't so many different ones, maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's a hard thing. I don't know if it is or isn't because a culture is a I find it being something that a lot of the times you tend to stick with the old ways.
Yeah,
You know, this is our culture. We got to hold on to this. And it doesn't evolve. You know, I don't. And then on the other hand, there's a culture that is a constant evolving monster that just kind of devours and destroys everything in front of it. You know, so it's hard to say, man.
yeah.
It's two sides of the same coin.
It's funny that you say that. One thing too is just gonna say all the catchphrases on this one.
We're lumping them all in together, man.
Right. uh, but what I mean is that okay. So I was thinking about how and I'm not kidding. This is not a lie. This is not a story. This is not. Uh which one is the real one? Nonfiction or fiction? Forgot.
No, nonfiction.
This
This
is
is nonfiction.
nonfiction. This is nonfiction going on right now. I had a problem with tradition and traditional things since I was very, very young. And I have no idea why I always questioned things and questioned tradition. And maybe it was because maybe the lack of love that I received or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But anyways, no, it wasn't the lack of love. My people love me
You
very
were loved
much.
dearly. Gil was loved dearly, guys. Don't you
Yeah.
worry about him.
Yeah, don't take that into consideration. But if you are a psychologist in the Southern California area and you do have no, um, I'm good.
Reach. I got a psychologist story for you once you get done. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Uh no, but what the tradition thing always had a an issue with it, but I just didn't get why people would do things over and over and over and over and over every year for what? I even I talked to my partner about this. Um Was it? Yeah. She was asking me about what I thought about the the Constitution or how some we're talking about political issues and how some people from the right, some people from the left interpret the Constitution uh, very differently.
Right.
And basically that's what it is. That's politics, knowing where to put money, knowing where to put resources in. But these two different sides have their own agendas and their own opinions on what should happen in a state or a country or whatever. But what she was saying, what do you think? I don't know if it was gun laws, abortion. I don't know. It was one of those big ones, and I was just like, you know what? Well, what is the Constitution? What is it? It's uh it's an old piece of material. I don't even think it's on paper.
It's like
It's
vellum or some shit like that.
something weird, right? Something weird. Probably snakes, skin ass, I don't know, ran with a feather over 300 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever, by people that are way dead now.
Yeah.
And we're still holding these ideas. Some of them are good. I'll give you that. Some of them are very good that help shape society, which, yes. But there's also, on the same point and the same paper, a lot of course, the Constitution was amended, what, 14, 17 times or whatever, and
Something like
something like
that.
that?
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
more than that. But, I mean, come on. There's a lot of comedic that could come out of this. George Carlin does a great piece on the Constitution. Joe Rogan had a piece on it too, about the Constitution, and I think it was just listening to those guys that really made me think about. I was like, damn, it's completely right. It's something old, and to go back to the tradition thing is we're putting value to those things that happened 300 years ago. Of course, I get it. I really get it. It's something that's helped shape society, but some things we can leave out there. I mean, come on, they're writing this thing to shape their country, and shit, fuck. Forgot about slavery. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's funny that you say that too, and this is why I wish we were able to do that July 4th episode, because this kind of plays into that, because you talk about
Let's do it
traditions.
right now. Let's do it
We're doing
now.
it right the
We're
fuck
doing it right
now. Here
now.
we go.
Welcome back to the Mindbuzz podcast. This is the July 4th
July 4th rewind, in case you missed.
alternative podcast.
But that was the thing though, because you talk about traditions and you talk about those things, and so you talk about July 4th. Okay, at the end of the day, realistically, I mean, it's not so much now, but it's supposed to be a celebration of July 4th, 1776, right? And this is what we're doing, and we're celebrating this stuff. And me as a black person or African American person, I mean, shit, man, 1776, we weren't even free for almost another 100 years after that. So why am I supposed to be celebrating this as a tradition and popping fireworks when my people were still digging cotton in the fields? You know, it's crazy. Traditions, I think some of them have to go. Some of them should change. For sure, we shouldn't always do things the way it was in the old ways. The old
Ho-
ways.
Hold on, but we can't change 4th of July because Walmart has a huge sale on grills for that weekend.
Yeah, true.
And 4th of July, we also have Chevrolet has a whole weekend
Dedicated.
of great
Dedicated to it.
prices to sell things, to sell them. And I should change the show to another thing that I have a problem with. Is probably
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to another thing we have problems with. Yeah. Hosted by Gill. No, for sure, man. I mean, it's crazy the way
no.
that things are looped together and how people run with them, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a holiday person to begin with.
Oh,
Uh,
neither am I.
yeah,
I'm really not, and uh, I'm I'm a Scrooge every holiday. I really am.
you and me both.
My partner, uh, uh, have mercy, universe, for that woman, because she's a strong woman, to deal with me on holidays. No, there's nothing. I have nothing wrong with holidays besides just knowing the history of it, and this all probably started when I was vegan at a very young age and going to Thanksgiving parties. And I remember my aunt that used to take care of me, and she used to say, "Always give me these warnings." I'm telling you, man, these warnings, these warnings, these warnings. Every party we'd go to for like Christmas, Thanksgiving, anything, birthday parties, because I was the oldest pretty much, and um, I was really graphic with with things, and she knew that, and it was Thanksgiving. I was vegan, no less, and she used to tell me, "Okay, okay, Gil, we're gonna go to this party, and I do not want to hear any vegan stuff. Okay, you got to leave that at home. Can we just have a nice holiday?" Just like, all right.
Oh, yeah,
Can I
sure,
talk? Wait,
man.
hold on. Can I talk about Christianity? Can I talk about religion, please? Now, let me do something. Let me be me. No, that,
Uh,
but I don't know.
put on your
I
Sunday best for
that's why that's why I have a podcast. I think that's why, and I have a great time because I can talk about all these things that I have problems with and all these things that I've like with people that I enjoy, listening to and talking to.
no, for sure, man. I mean, it's a good platform. Having this platform is awesome to be able to kind of branch out there and put other perspectives and other thoughts and other feelings, out there. And people don't want to listen, turn it off. You know,
Right? But you're still listening now, so it's all good. We still have some time
yes, sir.
here. Uh,
Yeah, I
you,
was looking at the time. I didn't even realize how much has passed, man. I've been enjoying this, bro. We're knocking down the minutes.
yeah, Ben, Ben and I had a really good conversation.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ben. I got to get him back. Actually, I hit him up not too long ago about coming on again. Um,
No, your guys' last episode was great, man.
yeah, it was great. I had a really good time. I had a really really good time. Like I'm having a good time now.
No, for sure. This is
Yeah.
awesome. This is awesome.
So you had a psychology story. I want to hear that one.
Oh no, no, yeah, no. This kind of was frustrating too, and it has to deal with culture as well too, man. But
Okay.
for whatever reason, I've been trying for the longest time to get black people to work together. We do not work with each other at all. Like we're always a hindrance. Like we never want anybody to be like a leg up on anybody, like ever. Like no, and that just pisses me off. But I've been trying really hard, and we've been trying really hard to get uh, a psychologist to come on the show, and uh, we finally, nailed one down. Happened to be a black lady, and when you first talk to them and everything, oh yeah, this is fine, that's fine. This is gonna be great. I think it's gonna be good. My practice is my practice that, whatever, yada yada yada. And we went to go give the date and everything that we're supposed to record. We're actually supposed to be recording tomorrow, as a matter of fact, with this lady. Um, yeah, so then once we talked about everything, what we wanted to do, gave the whole spiel, oh, we're working with each other, helping each other out, this, that, and the other, man. Come to find out, at the end of the day, she gets mad because she wants to change the day last minute from tomorrow to today, right? Which obviously it's, you're planning your life. We plan this out weeks in advance. And then she hits us with she'll give us a 30-minute, or sorry, a 45-minute session. Let me get the numbers right. A 45-minute session with her to come on and do this for us, even though we asked for an hour. She decided she's gonna give us 45 minutes for $300.
What?
$300. Like you're gonna hit us with
What?
this the last minute. So you wanna come on today, not
Yeah.
tomorrow, and you want to charge us $300 for 40. After looking at our page and this and that, she decided she wants to charge us $300.
Oh.
Like seriously, this is why I don't like too many therapists. Uh, they all they do is tell you the same shit anybody else would. You just don't want to hear it from who you probably should. You know?
So was she a psychologist or
Yeah, she's a
a
psychologist.
psychologist? Okay, not a psychiatrist, right?
Yeah, $300,
Gotcha. $300 for
45
45
minutes.
minutes.
I'm not
Hmm.
having open heart surgery. I don't know what's going on, dude. Like we're just trying to
Yeah.
have a conversation.
So it was just like you're gonna do an interview or just talk to her, right?
Yeah, that was it.
It's not like it's
Like
not
what
like a.
what we're
Th-
doing right
th-
now.
did she watch out for the invoice from MB Media? No. these guys, I'm telling you, I'm talking about you guys. Yeah, every time we went to Mindbuzz Media, tell you something. But that's off the air, not on the air while I'm using their time.
Right, right.
But yeah, damn, why? But why? Why do you think she did that? So she said yes at the beginning,
Yeah,
and she.
said yes. The day was already picked out.
Mhm.
The time was already picked out. Everything was already set. And then for whatever after looking at our stuff, after
Yeah,
looking
it's
at our
not like
page,
the podcast needed an evaluation.
and at all,
It's like,
you know, and
yeah.
that's just it kind of pisses me off, man. And we had I'm not trying to change the subject, but like that just in general when it comes to helping people out, it reminds me of the podcast community too, though. Some of the
Mhm.
podcast community, I hate to say it, man, you guys are so flaky. It's fucking annoying, but 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 I mean, it's so many people like they look, they assess, and then when they feel that they can get something out of it, that's when they really want to jump in. You know, it's never.
But here's the thing. This is where I have a problem with. Okay. All right. Here's the thing is one, this is where I have a problem with is 5, maybe 10 now in this podcast. But what I do, what I see and what I experience is one, maybe the Latino community in the podcast community. It's very, very secluded. It's like this,
Right.
right? Everybody knows their own people in that one circle, maybe, which is fine. That's cool. Okay, you can have that. But what I mean, they're groups. Okay, cool, whatever. Um, but the thing is, when you have that group talking, shit about other podcasts, like I don't. Okay, that whatever on their podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I was listening to this one, and I won't say his name or their name, and I won't give him the airtime. But he was just and this is, mind you, this is like the first. I'm getting excited here. The first 3 minutes of his podcast,
Just lighting
and
somebody up.
saying, fuck this podcast, fuck that podcast, fuck them for saying this, screw them. This podcast, don't listen to him. He said that I was this and I was this, and fuck that. If I see them in real life, I'm gonna beat their ass. And I was just like, whoa,
It's getting serious, man.
hold up, dude. Come on, really? You're really gonna go on there and say all this stuff? Mind you, I don't care. You can. I'm the one that hit play on the podcast player, so that's me. But really, okay, if this is what you want to do with your platform, man, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But uh flaky, yes. What I think about two is, okay, so we recently, like we said at the top of this, originally we had a date, and like we were juggling different things. Like I that stuff happens.
No, for sure.
Stuff happens in real life, right? We're not full-time podcasters. I mean, some of us are, some of us aren't. I mean, some of us have work 80 hours a week or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what your situation may be, but at least there needs to be communication. At least. I mean, I try to offer, at least for me, I offer communication, like in some aspects. I don't know, in some of them, because if I'm not trying to blow somebody off or be like, hey, like, sorry, let's do it this day. We have a date set, right? And I totally changed the date, which is my bad, right? My bad. But this other, maybe I'm doing it now. Maybe this other podcast said that like we had a date, we settled on a date, right? And we were gonna do in person. I had everything set up. but then it was just a last minute work thing that I had to do,
Right, right.
and I had to be at work. I just couldn't. I'm I had to be there.
No, for
There was
sure.
no way around it. I tried so many different things on not being there. Of course. I mean, who wants to be at work when they can just be at home podcasting, right? Um, but he sends me a video. I didn't even really listen to it. I feel like a dickhead going back. I think he was like I honestly I was listening to the first one, and it just he sounded kind of like really arrogant and kind of like mad that I wasn't gonna be able to make the time, and I was just like, "Whoa, dude!"
Calm down,
Like,
bro.
okay,
No,
I get it. We had a thing scheduled, but
I think that's
come
different though,
on,
man. That's different. I mean, and I can say, and we can put it out there so everybody knows. I mean, you like with even with our situation, like you have been uh, legit in this whole situation. Like you communicate, you say, we can do this, we can do this, we can't do this, we can't do this, and you're in constant communication because you care about your show. And that's good. I guess for me, like the frustrating for me too, and I will say this too, because it's just to see that the way that people do, like they they're chasing something for themselves and not so much for the content. Because I can say from the time when we talk about like our first interaction, especially like on IG or whatever, right? Um,
yeah,
we reached out, and that's how we communicated. And I want to say you had reached out to me after the Benji situation and everything else, and that's something that you wanted to do, and we tried to accommodate that, and we're doing it right now. But I want to say you had said something, or you had posted something, or at some point we'd had some communication that was like visible to other people. And dude, the moment that people saw that, then they want to ride the bandwagon. Oh, I want to work with you too. Oh, I want to work with you too. Oh, I want to work with you too. Right. But
uh,
then when you reach out to them and you say, okay, well, I want to do it, then they ghost you, or they want to charge you, or, they just are just saying that because they want to be seen saying they're doing something, so you
yeah.
acknowledge them. And there's no other anything besides that, you reach out to them and you don't hear back from them. Like you said, you want to work with me. Here I am. Let's do this. And you don't answer. I don't know. I think like it's just frustrating sometimes to see like we're all out here. We all have a voice. Some of us don't necessarily deserve it, or maybe they do. I don't know. But a lot,
Well, hold on. Deserve a microphone. How about
yeah,
that one?
yeah, right, exactly.
You can have a voice all you want, but
You don't need a mic. Not everybody
you
needs
don't
a
need a
mic.
mic.
And
No,
we're
exactly.
trying to
There you
make good
go.
content. We're trying to be real people. We're trying to make the world a better place. Some of us,
Mhm.
and but there's just people out there that they're literally just chasing fame. They're trying to be
Yeah.
the next Joe Rogan. You're not gonna be. It takes a lot of stars to align for that to happen. You know.
And I say this constantly. This is probably the millionth time that I said this on this podcast. Maybe it hasn't been. It's been a while. Um, oh no, it hasn't been a while. It has been a while. Maybe about a few months now. But I said it on another podcast with Alex from Canta Nation. I guessed it on his podcast, and we were talking about podcasting, whatever, it being an independent podcaster. And one thing that struck me that I was telling him was that there's this picture of Joe Rogan's first episode floating around on the internet, and saying this the picture of his first episode, right?
I think you've posted it a couple times too.
I did post it,
Yeah.
and what I
Yeah.
and it said, "Joe Rogan started here. If he can do it, anybody can." Bullshit. Bullshit. I call bullshit only because he was on the television for 10 years,
Yes.
and before that, he was a well-known comedian
Yes.
to get on that network,
Yes.
to be a host of Fear Factor that went on a billion seasons or whatever, 9 season, 15, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't do the math on it, but
Not to mention
come on.
Taekwondo, fucking high-ranking Taekwondo champion and everything
Yeah,
else. So he
I
had
meant I'm missing stuff too. So
he has a wide net, man. He has a wide net, and
see,
yeah.
and that's what
You're lying to all the Indian children.
S- So yeah, exactly. Some don't really consider that. You have to consider all of his years and dedication of hard work to achieve, even though his first podcast didn't look like how it is now.
No,
I
for
mean,
sure.
yeah, okay, but he still had that following
He did, and
before
even
that.
then, he's been what is he? How many episodes is he in? You know, a lot of people don't even think about that. They're, oh man, I'm 60 episodes in. You know, I'm like,
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, you're the dude's like what 1,500, 1,600. You know,
Right, right.
and he has
No, yeah,
pull. You know, he has a lot of pull, so that makes a big difference. I'm pretty sure we'd all get views if we could pull in Dave Chappelle and
yeah, exactly.
and
Oh yeah,
interview him. You know,
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think that the problem with that is that they're not, again, they're taking that information, they're seeing it, but they're not really analyzing uh really the situation here. And the situation at hand is that Joe Rogan didn't start there.
exactly.
And get his picture from when his first day stepping into a comedy club, or his first day of him sitting down at a desk, or at a McDonald's parking lot, uh, after trying affording a McDouble on the menu.
Yeah,
Let's take a picture of that and put it out there.
yeah,
You
man.
know?
It's crazy. I mean, expectations are they're a little unrealistic, man. They're a little
Yeah,
unrealistic, and I think that's ever in the podcast community, in the YouTube community, and the Instagram influencer community.
yeah.
It's
It
a lot of
this
false
happened to
realities.
this yeah, they're fallacies. This happened today on the post that I posted about the recent episode with Marcus from the Inner Monolog. And it was some media group that wrote me, and they said, what's your least, there was a whole string. They're just asking me questions. I don't know if it was a bot, a real person, but I like to talk, communicate with, even if they're bots or not, and just try to fuck with them to see if they're human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and they asked me, again, I don't know if it was a bot or a human or whatever, somebody behind the screen, human behind the screen, but they asked me, what's your least uh, favorite thing about podcasts? And it there's a lot of things that you can say about that, but I really took that question to heart, and I thought about it, and I'm like, what's the worst thing? I mean, I don't know. Like I love this thing, but it's very, very saturated. And
For
that
sure.
was the one thing that I do not like out of it. And I think it was a real person, because they replied back to that and said, "Well, let's get your show to stand out from the others," which is great sales technique, because you're asking me questions. I'll
Yeah.
give you that. But
For these many dollars, we can, we can help you reach that next level.
exactly.
That,
Oh, they're podcast promoters. Do you
oh
ever
my,
get those?
all like every day,
I
man.
love those.
We love your show. We'd love to
Uh-huh.
hear it on blah blah blah. You know, that's a question I have for you though, man. I mean, even speaking about that, because they're like, yeah, the market is oversaturated for sure. I mean, I would like to say that people can decipher and pick out the quality. You know, there's not a lot of quality shows in comparison to how many shows are out there. You know, there's a lot of just junk shows, but for you yourself, man, you've been going at this now for quite some time. I don't know how long into the pre-planning phase before you started was, or if you just started this thing. Um, but you have a decent following. You have a decent following. Your shows do decently well. Um, for people that are below you, for the me's or the people that are just starting out there, what advice would you give them? But then on the backside of that is now you are reaching a certain level of success, right? But people would look at you and they say, hey, this guy's doing it big. I mean, they don't know we all still work. I mean, well, I still work a job. You still work a job, obviously,
Yeah.
right? So it's not paying the bills quite yet. But how do you feel, or what do you think is needed to get that breakthrough so that you can level up, so you can get to that next level of the podcast game, right? You already got the voice, you already got the content, you already got the audio, you're working on the
Yeah.
video,
Yeah.
but what's it going to take to level up?
I think it's just always doing better than your last one. Uh, uh, really listen to like I said at the middle of this. When I'm editing, I'm listening to myself talk,
Right.
and I feel like if I can do better next time, then I'm gonna do better next time. Uh, this 10-minute piece that I was talking about was just horrible, and I didn't get the story right. Well, next time that I talk about the story, I'm gonna get it right. And I think it's always feeding myself information, whether it be true or not true, or listening to other. This what pumps me up, man. What pumps me up is listening to different podcasts on
Oh, for sure.
just independent. Yeah, I listen to Joe Rogan Experience. Um, I mean,
A lot of us
not
do.
all the time, but when he gets a really good guest, like when Adam Curry is on the Podfather, when Adam Curry is on a show,
Listen up, man. for,
yeah, because
for
I
sure.
listen to No Agenda. That's Adam Curry's show with uh, John C. Dvorak. Uh, I it's the Podfather, man. He's really he's great, and a lot of people idolize themselves. Oh, I'm gonna be the next Joe Rogan. When people are thinking that, I'm thinking, oh, go ahead,
You don't know the real game.
go ahead, man. Because while you're out chasing that, I'm thinking of the Podfather, the one person that started all this stuff.
For sure, man.
And taking some stuff from his rule book or anything like that. But
Where do you think,
and
though, in the podcast game, where does where's the transition to where the podcast itself ends and the celebrity takes over? Because for me, like, a lot of the times I think, and I listen to a lot of these Joe Rogans, and I listen to uh anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, anybody that's really kind of up there, and a lot of the times it becomes more of a name recognition listen, because some of those people, or a mass majority of those people, once they get to it, they don't really go, if they're a big name, they shy away from the deeper topics for the most part. Like, they have a set agenda that they stick to. They don't really talk about more outside of this, or they keep it kind of shallow. They may go a little bit. At the end of the day, they have a reputation and a name to uphold, right? Or to protect. And, I look at some of these things too, and I see, like, I look at your podcast, man, and I say, like, is there really that much of a difference between what you're doing on a daily basis for your podcast and what these guys are doing? I mean, really, the difference boils down to money, right? They got a shit ton of money. They can buy better
yeah,
cameras, better
yeah,
this, better that. They can have what's his name? God, I can't believe I just drew a blank. Uh, to look things up, and all, they can have all that stuff, right?
Jamie,
Jamie, there you go. You
yeah.
can have a Jamie to do that, right?
But
Like,
here's the thing, you can just you have to. Uh, I mean, going back to you can do anything you want.
we're back on that kick again. Yes, yes, kids, you can. You can be anything you want to be.
But here's the thing: how badly do you want to do it? That's the thing. Where's your value? What are you gonna do? If you really want that sound, then you can do it. If you have if anything, Jesus Christ, if this is I'm so torn between this, because I'm in the motion of, you can do anything you can, Bobby. Just you just have to believe it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then the other angel, on the other side of me, or the other entity, or the other, whatever this may be, is telling me that this bullshit. No, you can't.
No, no, you can't. I don't know, man. It's a hard thing to decipher because you can chase after, right? But that's the thing is deciding who who decides who can, right? It's one of those situations where
Yeah.
like, yeah, anybody can make it into the NFL. No, you can't. Anybody can make it to the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah.
No, you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, bro. You're 5 foot, 4'11", right? It doesn't matter how hard you train. You're never gonna dunk that basketball, you know.
Yeah.
And it's deciding who can go eh, and make that transition. I think there's very few people that can make that transition, but even once they make it, like it becomes this weird amalgamation of like, I don't know. I feel that some shows lose some of that
Hmm.
intimacy and some of that depth when they do make that transition because now it's a production. It's
Yeah.
it's not just a basic. We're sitting in the basement having this conversation. You know.
Yeah. I think if you just stay true to what you are, and what you set out to do, then I who sets another part of me is also who sets the guidelines for your hobby. Who's making the rule book
Exactly.
here? Who's setting who's number one and who's not? Like, we can go based upon downloads, which I want to bring up another thing too about the podcast community. And right after what I'm going to say here is, um, it's numbers. Okay, whatever downloads you get is fine, but is anybody really listening to you? Are
Exactly.
they listening to you? So now I just said that. Now I had a very it got heated because this person didn't like what I had to say. And I don't know if he got heated or he got offended of what I said, but I was breaking down my formula of what I do. I'm very analytical with stuff, and a part of me, that's my editor side.
Right, right.
My editor side is analytical and looking at numbers, downloads, your per cap of your followers versus how many downloads, how many people are listening. So I was giving them my formula on how to base yourself, and see how many people are really downloading your podcast. Are they listening? We don't know, because we have to go to the retention rate on you have to go to the retention on whatever hosting service you're looking at.
Right.
YouTube has this, and they based all their algorithm on retention, on how long something is, and how many viewers you're getting, and how long you engage them for, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I was explaining all those different things in that conversation, and he was like, "Bro, you're looking at this way too seriously," which, yes, I am. That was my editor side.
Debatable.
That's my editor side. Yeah, it is debatable. It was my editor side. But my artist side is saying, "Yeah, I can't take myself too seriously. Just do what you set out to do. Give people entertainment in audio form and video form, because we are now on YouTube. We're back on
Hey,
YouTube. Mindbuzz Media is back.
back on the
Thank you for
tube.
watching. Don't forget to hit the bell somewhere down there.
And
Subscribe,
subscribe.
comment.
Yes. Subscribe.
Exactly.
Got to get the
Yes, but
algorithms up.
even with that, and the retention, if you're still here, the retention rate is working. So kudos to MB Media. But what I was saying is, he told me that I was taking this too seriously, and that if the podcast is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I almost blew it when he said that, because he just listened to me. He I should have charged him $300 for my formula, because this is a great formula. I mean, if you're looking, if you want to see what your per cap is, your listener, your downloads versus your following,
Right.
right? you have to see where you're at. This you have to treat this like it's a game. It's like credit. It's a game. Yeah, you're playing with numbers.
Dude, it
You're
really is, man.
you're shooting the one thing I dislike about Instagram is that it does not allow links.
Yes.
It bums me out how sucky Instagram is with links because you can't click them.
Yeah.
You can't click them. And then when you use Facebook, as long it doesn't well, it changes between podcast to podcast or person to person because your 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 audience may be a Facebook user or they may be an Instagram user. But Instagram is great for videos. It's great for pictures and all that good stuff. A lot of people are Instagram right now, but it's constantly changing. And if they can change the feature in their comments to have links, that would be so huge
World of
because
difference.
podcasting is all it's in this imagined reality that we have that is on what we call the internet, and it's you can click it.
Yeah.
You can click on something and you will be opened to a whole new other show. You'll be open to all new conversations. You'll be opened to all these different experiences from another person in the part of the world or the part of the country that you have never even uh, imagined to listen to. So that's the problem with that. And even the other guy about that, yes, sir, you are completely right. I am taking myself a little too seriously on this, but in order for you to take yourself, I mean, to know where you're at, you have to look at these things. You have to. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna make a podcast and hope
Put it out there.
everybody listens.
Yeah, man. I
No.
wouldn't say you're taking yourself too seriously, man. I would say you're passionate, but you have to be passionate, right? Because that's the thing is yeah, you can say if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, but that's a like that attitude only it doesn't get you very far. Because
Yeah.
that's like saying, I'm gonna win the lottery, but I'm never gonna play, right? You still have to have some
Yeah.
action in it. You still have to be invested, and this is something that you're passionate about, even if it's a hobby or something that you want to do professionally or whatever the situation is,
Oh
man. You
yeah.
have to
Yes.
know what you're doing in anything. If you're learning to drive a car, you're not just going to just jump in and go, right? You have to get
Yeah.
some instruction. If you're on a job, you get trained to do your job, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
as far as the links, man, I agree with you 100%. I wish that Instagram, and I'm terrible at Instagram, I'm not even gonna lie. I hate social media. I'm terrible at it, but links would help. But then at the end of the day, right, it's like once they put those links on there, then you're taking away from their search time and money out their pockets,
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah, I think that's why they do it. You're right, dude. I was thinking about that. Why do they do that? But yeah, that's completely right. That has to be the
yeah,
thing.
because
I mean,
you'd link off somewhere else, right? Or you'd link off to YouTube.
yeah.
YouTube and Instagram aren't the same, and then now you're spending time on YouTube's algorithms and platforms, and it's probably going to cost them money. So everybody's like, no, we're going to keep you here. We're going to keep you in this
Yeah,
digital
which
space.
it's working very well. I mean, uh Facebook really has that option for and now I heard you can have a podcast on Facebook too that I heard.
Yeah, I saw something about that, man. I didn't dive too deep into it, but I was like, oh, that's probably the last place that needs that needs a podcast, man.
Who's telling me? So some other person in the indie community was telling me about that. I was just like, whoa, that's oh, you know why? Because I was checking out their live option on Facebook, and I went live for the first time, and I was playing like some music and stuff. It cut out all the music that I was just being I had this whole setup, and I was talking to it. I was taking calls from IG Live, and I don't know, I was just having fun with it, and and I guess that podcaster seen that he was like, "Oh, dude," like a week later, he was telling me that was happening. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I don't know. When you think about stuff and it really happens in reality, it fucking freaks me out, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
what's going on.
You wished it into existence.
Yes, that happens so much, man. And I feel like this is a movie. That my life is a movie, and the writer is looking at it, and the director is looking at me thinking about doing stuff, and it happens in the other part of the world.
This is the Truman Show. This is the Gill Show. Hey, we're all just watching, man.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's a mind buzz,
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
No, for sure.
Jeez. Shepard. This was fun, man.
It was a blast.
This
my
is
man.
really great. I had a blast. I know the audience is having a blast. Is there anything else that you want to cover before we end this one? Because I spoiler alert, Shepard, I do want to invite you on this podcast along with Ben. I think the three of us will have a super awesome, great time. Honestly, I do.
Now you're talking, man. We'll save it for that because I think yeah. Let's do it.
Right? No, I think so. So I mean, there's that. Ben, you're listening. I know you are. So there it is. That's the invitation.
We're gonna make it happen.
On air, live, happening now. Hopefully, let's get our people to talk, and let's get that. But before that happens, Shepard, go ahead. I'm gonna give you some time, talk about deep, meaningful conversations, and where we can find you, and all your links, and all that good stuff. So go ahead.
Man, I appreciate it, man. This has been fun. So for everybody out there, if they are wanting to get into some more conversations, anywhere podcasts are available, you can find us at DM Combo on Instagram. We have our link tree there. Since they don't do links, you can link off to them as well. But Deep Meaningful Conversations every Wednesday. Let's go.
Let's do this. Cool. So I'm everything that Shepard just talked about, I'm gonna put the links down there in the show notes. Everything from Deep MCs to Skip the Noise to Pods Like Us. Everything that we just mentioned here on this show. And if you like this presentation, continue to follow us. Deep MC's links are going to be in the show notes. Click them. I highly recommend, definitely. And guess I'm just gonna let the music play out. I guess that's how we end it. And Shepard, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That was another one.
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, man.
Let's get out of here.
That was fucking awesome.
The Mindbuzz.